All right, everyone. G-Man G Blazing here, aka Gunner, back with another episode and video for you from Views from the Stands, guys. So hope your week has been great, and hopefully you're doing some good things throughout this weekend. And if it wasn't that great throughout the week, hopefully this weekend, gets better for you guys. But real quick, before we get going, we're going to talk about obviously who Alabama's hiring, and then basically what's next for that one school, and then we're going to preview the Super Wild Card weekend. So again, but before that, please subscribe to the channel. Definitely would be much appreciated as we continue this journey. But let's get into it, guys. So, big news out in Tuscaloosa today. Alabama is hiring Kalen DeBoer from Washington. So, Kalen DeBoer, he's got an 87% win percentage. Uh, sorry, that's saving apology. So, basically, he's expected to get 10 million around there, and then DeBoer's resume and is pretty insane, to be honest. So he didn't start being a head coach until really 2021 from an FBS level. He played or he coached at Sight Falls, an NAIA school. He was head coach there, basically in like South Dakota, I believe, or North Dakota. But basically, he went 67-3 in the 5 years there. He had three undefeated seasons. He had three titles, and obviously was dominating, right? And so he goes to Fresno State, where he becomes he becomes an offensive coordinator for Eastern Michigan. He also with Illinois, and that's kind of where him and Michael Penix connected. So his overall record again is 104-12. Overall, he's again only been a head coach at Fresno State, um, and now Washington, and now his third one is going to be Alabama soon. So pretty crazy rise for him. Real quick, again, he was a head coach for Fresno State in 2021, 2 years at Washington, and now at Bama. So um, some other good things about him. He's an offensive mind. I mean, regardless of what level. I mean, this guy knows how to win, right? And he's going to find ways to adapt and make sure that he's still winning at all costs. I think he's good with relationships and good with the relationships. Um, but I think the thing is he does need to improve better, especially from the high school level. I mean, currently Washington is only like 46, and if you want to look at rivals, it looks like. So he's definitely not going good just overall. If you're looking from a 247, a one perspective, whatever the case may be. Um, Kind of shocked, I thought he was going to stay. I didn't think Alabama was fully committed with DeBoer. He's a great coach, but there's some knocks, especially on with the defense lately at Washington and whatnot. Um, but he gets his players to buy in, and I think that's what you want. Saban's still going to kind of be around, so he's going to be able to learn from Saban and kind of have Saban as a mentor. And it's Alabama. Alabama's going to have the resources behind him to to ensure that he's able to win at all costs, right? He's still got to go out there and win with the players. So what's next, right? Well, for starters, he's got to try and recruit the Alabama players, the Alabama incoming class, right, and try to keep as much as possible. Number one, right, Isaiah Bond's already out there, wide receiver. He's entered the portal. Sounds like he's going to go to Texas. You got to keep as much. Also, what's key is who's going to be his DC. Is his full staff going to follow him from Washington? I expect everyone aside from the defensive side, in my opinion, and to go from there. Um, and then Washington, like who leaves from Washington? We already had a couple, a safety and a DB, a corner, excuse me, go in the portal. one in particular, Jabbar Muhammad. Hopefully, he goes to USC. So yeah, it's pretty much now with this case, guys. The teams like when head coaches leave, basically and whatnot. Now it's like there's a 30-day window for a transfer portal. So basically, like the portal essentially gets extended now, right? And it could be more madness. We'll see what transpires there. Hopefully, we as USC, meaning look to get some interior D linemen, maybe, especially from Bama. We'll see again. More to come on that, obviously, throughout the days and weeks. But lastly, I mean, who's Washington gonna pick pick and hire? Um, could they try to keep the OC with Washington, Grubbs? Keep him? Probably not. What's also just popped in my head: Will Rogers. He committed, right. Went to Mississippi State. Went to the portal. He's there, and now his head coach is gone. Does he follow his head coach to Bama now? That'd be crazy. But from Washington, I mean, from a head coach perspective, there's Jed Fitch out there. There's Jake Dickert, I think is his last name, the Washington State head coach. I mean, just because he's in Washington, right? I'm sure there could, from the G5 level, probably some coordinators, offensive or defensive. I think they're going to have what West Coast or Big Ten ties, in my opinion. One would be, this is a dark horse, just something I saw earlier throughout the day on social media. Jim Mora. Jim Mora, former Washington player, and when he was a Falcons head coach, he actually mentioned on like an interview or a radio, right, or whatever case may be, that Washington would be his dream job. He's at UConn right now. He's actually kind of over. He, like earlier this last year, late, was like rambling, about the NIL and whatnot, and people complaining and stuff. So it sounds like he might be done there. Is basically what I'm trying to say at UConn. So we'll see. At the end of the day, Washington's a good school because they're going to the Big Ten, and at the end of the day, Big Ten's one of the best conferences, especially from a media rights standpoint in our revenue. So Washington's not getting the full amount, but they're technically getting a full amount probably if you compare them to a Big 12, or maybe even an ACC. I'm not sure how the ACC looks from a revenue by school standpoint, but so yeah, we'll definitely find out what transpires there. But lastly, guys, before we get off here, is hey, like I said, we're going to preview the super wild card weekend. So we're going to start off first with the Houston Cleveland game. Okay, 2:30 or 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. We have the Browns. They're favored by 1.5 here, guys. It's a road game for them. Pretty much a coin toss. The spread, or the over and under, is at 44.5. It kind of went up a tick a little bit, started at 43.5. I would not be surprised if Houston gets it done. I heard Denzel Ward got banged up at the wrong time, and CJ Stroud's just kind of dealing and balling, right? They're at home. The crowd's going to be rowdy. I'm looking forward to this game, obviously all games, but definitely give me Houston to win outright. And I could definitely see this being a shootout, so I wouldn't be surprised if it goes over that 44.5. All right, next game we got to cap off Saturday. So first off, real quick, sorry, the Houston game's on NBC. This next game's on Peacock. Miami at Kansas City, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, guys. Spread started at 3.5. Kansas City, it's at 4. Over and unders started at 51.5. It's obviously down to 44.5. If you're wondering why that went down so crazy, if you haven't heard or anything, it's going to be like negative 30 there. It's pretty much already snowing and whatnot, so it's definitely going to be a very that weather is going to have an impact, right, in terms of scoring and stuff. So a lot of defense and a lot of probably bad offense, in my opinion. But I mean, I like Kansas City winning here. Miami doesn't play well against above 500 teams. I don't expect them to all of a sudden turn that around. Defense been banged up, even though the weather is probably going to maybe help them in some aspect, but give me Kansas City to win outright and cover. All right, guys, going into the Sunday night cap. So we start off with Pittsburgh at Buffalo. This is going to be on CBS. This is a 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time game. Spread started at 9.5. It's still at 9.5 Buffalo. Uh, over under was at 42.5. It's now at 33.5. Again, this is very similar to that Kansas City game. Weather is going to be a big impact here, which I actually do favor Pittsburgh because we're trending in the right direction. Have been last few weeks, especially with the run game, with Warren and Naj. I mean, we're just bulldozing, dude. So I definitely this is not biased, but I mean, I guess you could still say it. I definitely would take the plus 9.5 for the Steelers. I definitely see them win. It will be obviously a close game, if so. Um, so for my fandom, I'm obviously going to take the Steelers. Going to take the points, and let's go Steelers. Here we go, baby. All right, guys. Second game on Sunday, we had Green Bay at Dallas. This is going to be on Fox here. Looks like it's going to be at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. Dallas is opened at 7, stayed at 7, and then the over/under started at 48.5. It's now at 58.5. Okay. I give me the points for Packers. Packers are looking good. They're young, but I think they'll be able to chew the clock with the running game. That's kind of some of the issue with Cowboys defense, but and then kind of attack them as those DBs and whatnot get closer to the line of scrimmage. So definitely excited to see what this game. I mean, this game has a lot of. I I could definitely see McCarthy being fired if he loses. Okay, and I don't think he would obviously want that. All right, and then the nightcap for Sunday, Los Angeles at Detroit, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on NBC, guys. Here, spread opened at 3.5. It's at 3 now for Detroit. Opened at 51.5 for an over and under. It stayed there. So probably gonna be a little bit biased here. I'm gonna go Lions, and main reason is because USC has offered Eric Henderson, D line coach for the Rams, and we need him. Tired of waiting. So let's go Lions. Get this freaking done, man. Get your first playoff home game in 30 years over with, so we can potentially get our future interior D line coach. And then, really, lastly, guys, the last game is on Monday. Philadelphia at Tampa Bay. So this is a big game like that Dallas game, just because Nick Sirianni could definitely, I think, can get fired. You could definitely make an argument where he was carried by his coordinators last year, and he is not really being, I would say, a true coach, true head coach. So spread open at 3 for Philly, still there. Over unders at 44.5. It went down to 43. Okay. This is a huge game, man. Philly's got to win this. So much pressure on them. They were able to get this done last time. Supposedly Hurts is dealing with a right finger injury. But give me Philly in a tough game, very tough game. So with that, guys, if we were to kind of predict the next games, right? So I had Houston. So Houston would most likely face Baltimore. Baltimore and Houston would be the divisional round. And then I picked Kansas City and no, excuse me. Pittsburgh would face Baltimore because they're the lowest seed. Apologies. And then Houston and Kansas City would face in the divisional round if all my picks were to happen and occur. And then the NFC side, we got who did I really pick? I took the points. Um, let's say Dallas wins just for this occasion. So Dallas and Detroit would face each other, and then Philly would face San Fran in the divisional round. And that's kind of why I guess you'd say I picked Dallas, just because I would like to see that matchup. Right? If Green Bay wins, they're facing San Fran. Um, so yeah, guys, that is the preview of the Super Wild Card weekend, and then kind of what happened in throughout the rest of this week with Alabama hiring Kalen DeBoer. Shout out to him, and let's see what's next for Washington, guys. Um, so without further ado, I appreciate your time as always. Again, don't forget to subscribe. But peace.